Raven's Flight by Diane Sylvie. Epilogue. Marcy had been calling regularly since she got back to Egmont 2 months ago, but JL wouldn't speak to her. She hoped this time he would agree to talk, and that he would be in a better state of mind. Melissa answered. "Hi, Melissa. How's he doing?" "Well, his therapy is going well, but he's terribly depressed. He just mopes around the house. He won't talk to anyone." "Did you tell him I called again?" "Of course. I can't understand why he won't talk to you. He just keeps saying he doesn't want to be a burden." Tell JL I need his help. He's the only one who understands what I've been through, and without him, I'm afraid I might. Just be sure to tell him, okay?" "All right," Melissa said, a little unsure of herself. When JL called back the next day, Marcy was so surprised she jumped in before he could say a word. "Listen closely, JL. I don't want to hear any more about being a burden. I'm calling to tell you I bought a bus ticket to Kelowna, and I'll be there tomorrow. I know there are jobs in the area and that your parents have a spare room I can rent. I can help you with your therapy, and you can help me with mine. I'm still so shaky and I have horrible cravings. I need you, JL, and my family knows how I feel about you. They've spoken to your parents and it's all set. I'm not asking your permission. I'm just warning you I'm landing on your doorstep," Marcy said before hanging up with a smile. Maybe they'd both found what they were looking for in the city after all. Each other. Raven bounded down the stairs en route to the shed to fetch her supplies for the day's salal picking. She'd had some catching up to do to replace the money she'd spent during those days in the city. She felt more carefree than she had in days. Through the open window, she breathed in the fragrant smell of freshly cut cedar and heard the familiar whack-whack of bird that was her namesake. On a tree branch just outside the window, the bluish-purple glint of its feathers glistened in the sun. Suddenly it took off, gliding across the blue sky with grace. Seconds later, it was playing in the air currents. First a dive, then a spectacular roll, before it settled back into the nest it called home. She turned toward the counter where she spotted an envelope addressed to her, written in a scrawl that looked vaguely familiar. Maybe Ben had finally responded to the letter she had sent, care of Mr. Wilson's store. She tore open the envelope and pored over his note. "Dear Raven, I don't know where to begin. Just after you left, Mr. Wilson made us an offer that changed all of our lives. He said, because of his failing health and age, that he needed someone around the clock to help him with the business and his place. He wanted us to move into the house behind the bookstore, Robert and Anna too, and help out whenever we could. When I told the children we had a new home, they were so excited they could barely contain themselves and started packing their few belongings right away. Robert ran over and hugged Mr. Wilson so hard he started coughing. I couldn't stop grinning. But Anna had the strangest reaction. She sat with her eyes shut and recited, 'I just have to shut my eyes, go sailing through the sky, go sailing far away.' On our first night in Mr. Wilson's house, he went into the cupboard and brought out a large framed painting covered with a drop cloth. He placed it on an easel stand, cleared his throat, and unveiled the picture. 'Look! It's the gown, the midnight blue crushed velvet one,' Anna shouted. Mr. Wilson had found an old photo of Bertie in a newspaper review of her performance and had hired an artist to duplicate the photo for the portrait. 'Miss Bertie's spirit will be living here too,' Mr. Wilson said, beaming. 'Your friend forever, Ben. P.S. Write me soon. I love having a real address.'